The Nintendo Switch is certainly a major upgrade from its predecessor, the Nintendo Wii U, but still there are several areas in which the Wii U clearly beats out the Switch and holds a value all its own. Today I want to talk about exactly why I still love my Wii U, and why I won't be letting go of it anytime soon. Even though the eShop is dying next year, just had to say it. If I had to recommend a single home console to someone on a budget, I'm thinking the Wii U just might be the one I pick. As of now, finding a complete Wii U on eBay or in a used video game store, sometimes with a couple games thrown in too, is pretty reasonable. You can, in most cases, get everything you need for under $200. And many people seem to be very willing to sell you their old Wii U's too. You might know someone who has an old Wii U collecting dust somewhere and might be willing to cut you a deal just to get it out of their hands. This is pretty common because a lot of Wii U owners completely shafted their Wii U's after the Switch's launch, which I understand to an extent. Not only is it the newest hardware that runs all the latest games, but also the handheld nature of the Switch makes it seem like a direct replacement. But as I'll explain later in the video, I think those who held onto their Wii U's were smart, as it still has quite a few advantages over the home console handheld hybrid. For example, the Nintendo Wii U Exclusives. Even though the vast majority of the Wii U's best exclusive titles made their way over to Switch in some way, there are still many great experiences still unavailable on the current console. Xenoblade Chronicles X is a big, hardcore RPG that's, as of now, still locked to the system. Star Fox Zero is an unreplicable experience that uses the TV and gamepad screens in tandem to simulate spaceship combat. And of course, the brilliant remasters of two of the best 3D Zelda games, Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD, are still only available on the console. These remaining exclusives alone justify the price of a Wii U in my opinion, but there's still far more value that the Wii's successor offers us, like seamless backwards compatibility for the full library of the aforementioned Wii console. One of the more overlooked aspects of the Wii U is that it's also a fully functional original Wii. It plays physical Wii discs and works flawlessly with the Wii Remote and sensor bar. It's the only officially released way to play Nintendo Wii games on a TV using HDMI, which is handy if you no longer have ports for component cables. If you were, or still are, a Nintendo Wii owner, having a Wii U up and running is still the most convenient way to enjoy your physical Wii game collection in 2022. We've gone through all of this and still haven't even talked about one of the Wii U's major selling points, handheld play on the gamepad. Looking back, I find myself thinking a lot about how the Wii U was kind of a halfway step toward the Switch. It was the hybrid console before hybrid consoles. Sure, you couldn't just leave your house with the gamepad and take all your console games on the go. You still had to be in range of that box that's connected to your TV, but even this mini step towards the hybrid experience that the Switch now gives us was a great one. Crucially, using the gamepad as a handheld feels really good. It's generally comfortable to hold, and the sticks and buttons are quality. I love my Joy-Cons and all, but there's no drift here. Besides the smaller screen size, there really isn't much of a downgrade when switching from TV to handheld play on the gamepad. This was a really novel concept at the time, and for many of us, served as our first real experience playing a console-quality game on a handheld device. I still remember the first day I got my Wii U, and took New Super Mario Bros. U into handheld mode for the first time. I was completely amazed. And even in today's post-Switch era, when handheld play is more or less taken for granted, the gamepad is still a great little device to take to bed or the couch in another room to continue playing your console games without a hitch. Just remember not to move too far away from the console itself. And there's another bonus you'll understand if you're a fellow YouTuber or streamer. You can play from anywhere in your house using the Wii U gamepad in handheld while still capturing footage from the main console. Something you can't do with the Switch since it's all one unit. But above all, probably the biggest reason I still love the Wii U is the amazing Virtual Console. Every time I browse the Wii U eShop, I feel absolutely spoiled, as it has one of the best classic game libraries I've ever seen, with a vast array of titles available for completely unrivaled prices. The Wii U VC library includes pretty much all of the classic NES and SNES titles, including some that are super hard to find anywhere else. Plus, legendary N64 games like Mario 64 and Ocarina of Time, just to name a few. And as if this wasn't enough, the Wii U Virtual Console brings a show-stopping collection of Game Boy Advance games to the big screen for the first time, including Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga, Golden Sun, Minish Cap, and the 2 amazing GBA Metroid games. Speaking of handheld games coming to the big screen, Nintendo DS games are also part of the Wii U Virtual Console. Nintendo cleverly made it so you can use the Gamepad's touchscreen to replicate the bottom screen of the DS. It's a little wonky, but super clever and very much appreciated. Just having all these DS games available to buy again is pretty special. Making all of these games, which span basically Nintendo's entire history, on an HD home console sounds great enough on its own. But wait, it gets even better. As I was mentioning earlier, with the Gamepad's portability, you can take all of these classic games handheld too. Some SNES games like Earthbound and Super Mario RPG, plus some N64 stuff like the original Paper Mario and Pokemon Snap, had never been available on a handheld system before this, so that can't be understated. And after playing GBA games on the much larger and brighter Gamepad screen, you'll never want to go back to the original hardware. Plus, the Wii U's Virtual Console emulator has a save state feature built right in, giving us the ability to save our progress at any point in every one of these games, which is a super useful feature, especially for all those difficult retro games. And you'd think with all these beloved games being available in one place, the fun would end there, but that's not the full story. Although not specifically designated as Virtual Console releases, many original Wii games are also available to download on the Wii U eShop, so digital buyers will have access to many of the classic Wii titles like Super Mario Galaxy 2 and the Metroid Prime trilogy, for example. Okay, now I'm finally done. I think I've done a decent job conveying the unique value the Wii U still holds, and why it will likely still have a place among my consoles for many years to come. Nintendo's first HD system definitely has its flaws, but I think overall it kinda got a bad rep, and its legacy will always live on as a special one. Obviously now the hardware is a bit outdated. Compared to the Switch, it feels more like a kid's toy with its plasticky casing. The Gamepad's battery life is pretty abysmal, loading times are a bit slow, and we still need to hook up that Wii-era sensor bar to use motion controls. But still, I think it's a great machine that just came at the wrong time. It stared much more powerful competing hardware right in the face and boldly just added a single U. As great and popular as the Wii was, most were ready to move on, and that U was largely overlooked. But I'm not alone in remembering the Wii U's heyday fondly. As support officially ends for the console next year, I'm happy to look back on the Nintendo Wii U as a machine that did a lot more good than people might remember.